Hey guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, let me know what you think. Now let's get into today's video. Hey guys, thank you for joining me here on another episode of Crossing the Line. We're going to take a look at this story from Bloomberg, and it's been trending on Twitter over the last couple of days. You may have heard some talk going on about it. The US Safety Agency to consider ban on gas stove amid health fears. Now, you may be wondering what's this got to do with, how's this going to affect us here in Australia? Well, let me tell you, if they're going to do it there, if they're talking about it now, you can guarantee some idiot in the Greens party is going to stick their hand up and say that this is a good idea and that we should do it. Now, no one thought they were going to ban plastic straws, but look what happened with that. And plastic bags. Remember when we had plastic bags? Remember when we had plastic straws? And remember how quickly they disappeared. Remember how quickly they were gone. Single-use plastics, the useful ones anyway, are gone. You still have the single-use plastics bloody everywhere. And so it wouldn't surprise me if some idiot in the Greens party or someone like that, someone in the government, decides that this is going to be a good idea and they're going to put it to the floor. Now, this story from Bloomberg and the New York Times, I believe, started. But these stories seem to have been a bit of a fishing expedition to see what people's reaction would be to trying to ban gas stoves. Now, I don't believe for a second that it has anything to do with health effects on people causing childhood asthma or anything like that, like it says here in the story. That may be the case. It may be proven to be true. It may cause childhood asthma, but I doubt it. And not to mention, I think if they're going to use that as an excuse, there's a lot of other things they should be banning before they ban that. But as we all know, the World Health Organization and people like the World Economic Forum all know what's best for us. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know how to take care of ourselves. We need people like the United Nations, our government, World Health Organization, the CDC. We need them to take care of us because we're all bloody invalids. Now, the reason I see behind them fishing for this and seeing what kind of backlash that they were going to get for this, it's got nothing to do with our health. It's got nothing to do with asthma. It's got nothing to do with anything like that. It's got to do with control and power. They want us on every grid they have, whether it's a social media grid, whether it's a power grid, whether it's a welfare grid system or something you're suckling at the teat of the government. All around the world, they want you dependent on them. And with gas, it may not seem as a big of a deal, but if the gas company is dropping off bottles at your place, like I have a gas cook stove here, gas barbecue, it's Australia, we all have barbecues with gas bottles. Some people are going electric. We've got an electric and pellet smoker, as you can imagine, but they don't want you to be able to cook a meal at home without their say-so. So if you're doing something against the government, they can cut your power off. They can pretty much control what you can and can't do. They won't let you charge your car if they cut your power off. They won't let you cook a meal if they cut your power off. They won't let you tweet or get angry about anything about the government's doing online. They won't let you say anything online. So if they control the power, they control you. And if you're completely dependent on the power, which we all are. I mean, my home is connected to the grid. I have solar panels. I don't have battery backup. We suffer from blackouts here constantly. So we need generators and whatnot just to, run the water pump. Because I'm living in a rural setting, we're not connected to mains water or sewage. So we need a generator backup for when the system fails or when there's a storm, whatever. Solar power is pretty much on every single house in Australia by now. I mean, if you don't have solar, I don't know where you've been. Pretty much every house I've seen has solar, or at least some sort of solar. If you aren't able to cook your own food because the power's out, because the government doesn't want you to have power because of load shedding, or because we've just had a couple of cloudy days and they don't want us to be using coal-fired gas plants anymore. They will be able to shut it off and you won't have an option. So this is just another push for a government, and this is the American government, but here in Australia, we'd adopt it as quick as. I mean, you see how our government sees someone do something stupid in Canada, England, or the US, and our government says, oh, quick, we better follow suit and do what they're doing. So, and not to mention that they love following in the footsteps of the World Economic Forum. They listen to Greta Thunberg, for God's sakes. I mean, why are we listening to a 16-year-old on climate crisis, apparently? Who knows? But we'll have to look at this story from the Bloomberg here, and the US Safety Agency to consider ban on gas stoves amid health fears. The US Consumer Product Safety Commission will move to regulate gas stoves as new research links them to childhood asthma. I wouldn't be surprised, if they started linking all these heart attacks and died suddenly, people who are just keeling over and dying from heart attacks. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried linking it to something like this. Something that's, mildly inconvenient for the government, they'll link it to that. A federal agency says a ban on gas stoves is on the table amid rising concern about harmful indoor air pollutants emitted by appliances. The US Consumer Product Safety Commission plans to take action to address the pollution, which can cause health and respiratory problems. This is a hidden hazard, Richard Trumka Jr., an agency commissioner, said in an interview. Any option is on the table. Products that can't be made safe can be banned. Natural gas stoves, which are about 40% of homes in the US, emit air pollutants such as nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, and fine particulate matter at levels the EPA and the World Health Organization have said are unsafe and linked to respiratory illness. Cardiovascular problems. There it is. Cardiovascular problems. So a gas stove is the reason all these people are keeling over and having heart attacks in the middle of soccer fields and like that. Is it? Okay, it's gas stoves. Nothing else? You can't think of anything else it could be? No? Oh well, we'll keep reading, shall we? Carbon monoxide and fine particulate matter is the EPA, the World Health Organization, unsafe to link to respiratory illness, cardiovascular problems, cancer, and other health conditions, according to reports by such group as the Institute for Policy Integrity and the American Chemical Society. Consumer Reports in October urged to consumers planning to buy a new range to consider going electric after tests conducted by the group found high levels of nitrogen oxide gases from gas stoves. New peer-reviewed research published last month in the International Journal for Environmental Research and Public Health found that more than 12% of current childhood asthma cases in the US can be attributed to gas stove use. There is about 50 years of health studies showing the gas stoves are bad for our health, and the strongest evidence is on children and their children's asthma, said Bradley Seals, a manager of the Carbon Free Buildings Program. Look at the words, look at where they work, look at the people who are doing these studies. They're the ones who are pushing this climate change agenda. They're the ones pushing this lie that us using fossil fuels is destroying the earth at a astronomical rate that we can't ever fix. I completely believe that we are damaging the environment with what we are doing as a human race. Undoubtedly, we are damaging the environment. Is it to the extent that these government officials are saying? Hell no. Hell no, it is not. Are we flooding? We're supposed to be underwater by now. Al Gore said we were supposed to be drowned and clinging to a life raft by now. The Bethesda, Maryland-based Consumer Product Safety Commission, which has a staff of roughly 500, plans to open public comment on hazards posed by gas stoves later this winter. Besides barring the manufacture or import of gas stoves, options include setting standards on emissions from appliances, Trump has said. Lawmakers have weighed in, asking the Commission to consider requiring warning labels, range hoods, and performance standards in a letter to the agency in December. Lawmakers include Senator Cory Booker, of New Jersey, and Representative Don Beyer of Virginia. Both Democrats urge action and call gas stove emissions a cumulative burden on Black, Latino, and low-income households that are disproportionately experience air pollution. So it's racist too. Okay. Democrats are saying that gas stoves are racist and they're killing Black and Latino people disproportionately to what, white people? What about Asian people? Because I know a lot of Asian people that use gas stoves. Have you ever heard of a wok? Have you ever tried using an electric wok? It does not work. You need a gas stove. So basically, you're racist for having a gas stove and you're killing children is what they're trying to promote now. Parallel efforts by the states and local policymakers are targeting the use of natural gas in buildings more broadly in a push to reduce climate warming emissions such as from methane that exacerbate climate change. Nearly 100 cities and countries have adopted policies that require to encourage or move away from fossil fuel power buildings. The New York City Council voted in 2021 to ban natural gas hookups in new buildings smaller than several stories by the end of this year. California Air Resource Board unanimously voted in September to ban the sale of natural gas-fired furnaces and water heaters by 2030. Do you know who's not banning gas and who's not stopping using coal and who's not stopping using oil? China. They don't care. They are contributing to more greenhouse gas emissions than any other country in the world, and they don't care about the green climate change deal, New Deal, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to lie about. They don't care about that. They want power, in its literal sense, more than any other country in the world. And they are using it. They are getting it. They are building gas-fired power plants and coal-fired power plants every single day. They do not care. And whatever we do in our tiny little countries like Australia with its population of, 30 million, less probably, doesn't make a dent. Doesn't make a dent. Consumers who want to switch from gas to electric ranges could get some help in a massive climate spending bill signed into law in August. The Inflation Reduction Act includes rebates of up to $840 for purchase of new electric ranges as part of some $4.5 billion in funding to help low and moderate income households electrify their homes. The Association of Home Appliance Manufacturers, which represents gas range manufacturers such as Whirlpool Corp, says that cooking produces emissions and harmful byproducts no matter what kind of stove is used. Ventilation is really where this discussion should be rather than banning one particular type of technology, said Jill Notini, a vice president of the Washington-based trade group. Banning one type of cooking appliance is not going to address concerns about overall indoor air quality. We may need some behavior change. We may need people to turn on their hoods when cooking. I mean, if you're spewing out smoke and you're burning something, shouldn't you have your range hood turned on or open a window or something like that, or put a fan on? I don't think people are sitting in their homes gassing themselves out like they're bloody Germans gassing out Jews. I don't think that's happening. I mean, if you're in an inner city and you're breathing in gas coming from a stove, that's probably the least harmful thing you're breathing in. You go outside to the however many tens of thousands of cars and people farting, for God's sakes. Just the amount of soy-based fat people that are running around inner cities now farting out their soy, it's got to be doing much more bloody harm than gas stoves. I mean, why are they attacking gas stoves for health? No, it's not health. We know it's not health. It's power and control. They don't want you to be cooking anything because you're not going to be eating meat. You're not going to be eating meat. You're not going to need to cook anything. It's all going to be fake plant-based crap. It's probably going to be pre-cooked, and you just stick it in the microwave, and 30 seconds later it's done. It's full of seed oils, full of garbage that you have to eat because they've banned everything else. The World Economic Forum is attacking our way of life on every single front, and they're pissed that this story got such a large amount of backlash over the last couple of days. They laughed it out. People are talking, look at this crap on Twitter. Look, they're talking about $20,000 worth of eggs before the government seizes my gas stove. Yes, it's a joke. It really is a joke. I mean, 87,000 gas stove police officers now. Do it now. This is insanity. It's true. This is what it's going to come to. This is a tactical gas stove, Tesla new gas stove. I saw one here before. Look at this. How many people are dying from these? Joe Biden's Antifa IRS agents hunting down the last gas stove owner. This is where we're getting to in the US. This is where we're getting to in Australia. They're not going to let us have anything. You're not going to be able to light a fire outside. You're not going to be allowed to have a barbecue. We're going to be banning barbecues in Australia. And I hope to God that never happens, because if we ban the barbecue, the gas barbecue, or the charcoal grill, or anything like that here in Australia, who are we as a country? We're not Australian anymore. We can't... I know it's a tired old trope that the Americans think we say all the time, but throw another shrimp on the barbie, which we don't fucking say. We never said, never have said. We don't call them shrimp. They're called prawns. You uneducated, Biden-loving wankers. They're called prawns. They're not going to let us have our barbecues. All these people on Australia Day that's coming up. What are we going to do on Australia Day? We can't have a barbecue. Oh, quick, get out the electric wok. No, please. World Economic Forum's coming for our barbecues, people. What are you going to do about it? What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. And thanks for watching Crossing the Line. I'm your host, Isaac King, and I'll see you guys in another episode. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.